Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So today I want to talk to you guys about my top 5 quickest ways for you to raise your credit score. So if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of negative items on your credit score, like charge-offs, collections, late payments, and you're wondering why your credit score is so low, it could be because of your credit balance. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you have $10,000, credit limit, and you have like $8,000 used on that credit card, then that's going to drop your score down tremendously. That's why it's because of this thing called utilization rate, which accounts for about 35% of your credit score. And to break down what utilization rate is, so let's say you have $10,000 on your max credit limit, and you're using $8,000 of that. So right there, your credit utilization score rating is 80%. And the way credit cards like it, they like you to keep it below 50%. I mean, they want you to keep it as low as possible, but if you can keep it below 50%, then that won't raise red flags in terms of like hurting your score. But they'd prefer that you keep it 30%. Most people recommend it below 10%. Me, I personally keep it below 10%, depending on the things that I'm buying. But I try to keep it as low as possible, because the higher it goes, the more it's going to affect your credit. All right. So if you're maxing that 80% of your credit utilization, that's gonna hit your score big time. Because like I said, it's 35% of your credit score is based on how much credit you use compared to how much you have available. So that is the biggest way. So if you wanna increase your credit score, pay that thing down. So if you can get that $8,000 down to like $1,000, that's gonna put you at 10%. You're gonna see your score increase big time, 30, 40, maybe 50 points. So you really want to make sure you pay down your balance. And be honest, you shouldn't have a balance. You should be paying that balance off every month. All right, you shouldn't be holding a balance and paying interest on that. All right, that's the biggest waste of money. All right, so that's the first one. Second one is, let's say that you don't have the money to pay down that balance. All right, the next thing you could do is ask the credit cards to raise your limit. So like I said, let's say you have $10,000 and you have a $10,000 credit limit, and you have $8,000 used already. All you have to do is increase that $10,000 to, like, let's say $12,000. So what that does is it decreases your utilization rate. Okay, so that's another tactic that you can use, because obviously if you don't have the money, I mean, you only can pay what you have, and if you don't have the money to pay that balance down, the next best thing is to increase that limit. All right, so right there, it works inversely. Like, instead of paying it down, you can just increase the limit, and it works the same way. It brings the utilization rate down. So that's kind of the best way. But sometimes you got to be cautious, because a lot of credit card companies won't do it because they see you almost maxed out. And they're like, all right, this person clearly is at that limit, so they might be cautious in terms of how much to raise it. At the same time, they might do it because they see, and as long as you're making your payments on time, they see that you're making your payments and you're paying that interest on that $8,000, which you shouldn't. But if you can be consistent with your payments and you're making those payments on every time, they're like, all right, this person is making payments every time. Let's increase their credit limit, because they're just gonna pay more money. So that's more money in their pocket. So this is why you need to pay that thing down. So you shouldn't be paying interest on any credit card. You should be paying it off every month. All right. So that's the second way. The third way is if you own a business, right? So let's say you own a business, right? What you want to do is open up a credit card account with your business. And what you can do is transfer your personal credit cards, that balance, let's say that $8,000, just transfer it over to your business credit card. So one thing you want to make sure is, the reason why this works is, a lot of business credit cards, they hide the information from the credit bureaus. So what's on your business credit doesn't get transferred over it doesn't show up on your personal credit report. But the thing is, I think only 10% of business credit cards do this. So I know Capital One does it. I just opened up a business credit card and it showed up on my personal account. So don't get a Capital One business card. But I think two of them are, like, I think Chase Bank does it, and I can't remember the other one, but I think Chase Business Card does it. Whatever, if you open up a business account, it won't show up on your personal credit report. So that's a good way to do it. So, like, if you can open up a business account with your business, you can take that money that's on your personal credit card. You can transfer, probably, if not all, you can transfer some, if not all, to that business account. That's a great way to hide the money that you're using from your personal credit report. So and remember, because this works because and that's the thing, you gotta be careful, because you gotta ask your credit card company if they do this. Like I said, Chase does it, but you want to make sure before opening up a business credit card, ask the company if it shows up on your personal credit card. So you want to make sure that's that you get that cleared up. Because if you open it up, because I didn't know Capital One did that, and I opened it up and I was like, oh, why are they showing up on my personal credit report? So I researched it and found out, that's what they do. So that's what you want to do is just open up a business credit account and then just transfer that amount. All right. So the fourth thing you could do is when in terms of like raising your credit score. Now, this won't do it as quickly, but you want to make sure you're using old credit card accounts. So let's say you got like 5 credit cards and like 2 of them you haven't used in like 2 years. You want to make sure you're at least using them like, a few times a month. Because the good thing about, because 50% of your credit score is factored in age of your accounts. So the longer you have a credit history, the better it is. But if you have credit cards that aren't being used, it's going to kind of hurt you because they're like, all right, this person's not using it. So it's not going to, it's points that you're not being used that could help benefit your credit score. So the smart thing you want to do is like if you have like credit cards that aren't being used, you haven't used them in like 2 years, just make like a few transactions a year with those credit cards. Buy some gas, buy some food. Just use them. You don't have to use them all the time. Just use your main credit card. But you want to make sure you're using at least, the one that's not being used that much, like a few times a year, so you can build up that age history. Credit cards really like that. People are using credit for a long time. And that's why it's so hard for like say like a 18-year-old to get a credit card because they have no history. So if you're someone that can get 5, 10, 15 years of age history, that helps build your credit. So credit cards like to see that you have like a history of dealing with credit because they want to see how responsible you are. They want to see your habits when they're dealing with loans and everything. So it's a good thing. It's a good way to decide if you're a person that they can loan money to or they can give credit to. So you want to make sure you use those old credit cards. It can boost up your credit score a little bit. Not as fast as paying off the balance, but it does help. All right. Now the fifth thing, which should be standard, it's not the quickest way, but it is a way, and that would be making your payments on time. All right. As you make your payments each and every month, this helps build your score up over time. All right, because if you don't pay it, that's one of the biggest hits on a credit score, and it's as high as the first tip, which was your utilization score. Making sure payments on time factors in about 35% of your credit score. So if you don't make payments on time, obviously you're going to see a huge hit on your credit score. But if you can make payments on time each and every month, you're going to see a boost in your credit score as it goes, especially if it's a new credit card. And as the more payments that you make over time, you'll see your credit score get to build up. And then at the same time, you're building that age, you're building up that history. So it's the slowest way, but it is a way that you want to make sure you keep on top, because maybe it doesn't build your credit score as quickly, but if you don't make a payment, that thing will drop your credit score down tremendously. All right. So just make sure you're making your payments on time. That's the fifth one. So you want to make sure you're managing your credit, because obviously we all know how important that thing is. And these are like the 5 quickest ways to build your credit. There's other ways, but for me, these are my top 5s that help out the most. So if you're someone that doesn't have any negative items and you're looking for a way you're trying to figure out why your score is not up there, that utilization is probably the biggest reason. All right. So I hope this I gave you enough information. I hope it helped out. I hope you found it useful. If you like what you saw, just make sure to hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe. And then I'll talk to you soon. All right. Have a good one. Later.